Helen Keller, the girl who could not see, hear, or speak. Sometimes we might feel frustrated with our poor advances in learning a foreign language. Nevertheless, with the next story, we shall find a dot example of persistence and overcoming in a particular situation. Then we wouldn't say or dare not say, I can, once again in our lives. I'd like you to know the story of Helen Keller, who could neither see or hear from the time she was a baby. Therefore, later she couldn't even talk. However, the brilliant girl was able to overcome all those handicaps, to graduate from a college with honors and become a useful citizen. I must say there was nothing wrong with Helen Keller when she was born. Her father and mother were very proud of their pretty baby, Jude or Hood, right to say Pa and Ma. For 19 months, Helen grew bigger and stronger. She was able to walk. When she was a year old, she could say a few words. But one day the child fell ill. She must have been very, very ill. For days she was laid up with a high fever, and soon the parents learned that their darling would never be able to see and hear once more in her life. The little child was now doomed to a life of silence and darkness. She could not hear what was said to her and didn't know how to talk. She was unable to play with other children. When Helen was 6 years old, her parents took her to Baltimore and then to Washington to famous doctors to find out if they could do something to make her hear, and he went, but the doctor could do nothing. The child was hopelessly deaf. Dr. Bell said the Keller should address the Perkins Institution for the Blind in Boston and ask if they could send someone to help the child. Although it needless to say how miserable her parents felt, they never gave up their enterprise of giving her daughter the chance to live a life. It was a wonderful day for Helen Keller when Anne Sullivan arrived in March 1887 to make charge of the child who could neither hear or speak. Helen was nearly 7 and Sullivan was past 20. And Sullivan found a way to make herself understood. She waved the child a doll, and taking Helen Keller's hand, she slowly sped out DOL. The child learned for the first time that thing must have names. When Miss Sullivan later spelled into the little girl's hand the word WATLR, and then let the water for the palms run over the hand, a new light sent to brighten the face of the child. During the next 3 months, she learned 300 words and could even put some of them into sentences. Miss Sullivan loved her pupil who was so quick to learn. They needn't have safe efforts. They spent them all to accomplish their goals. So she lived with Helen, played with her, and worked with her every hour of the day. By means of the hand language, Helen and her teacher were able to talk to each other. Helen learned to read books that, when printed for the blind with raised letters, she also learned to use the typewriter to write what he wanted to see.